One Tupac Shakur. At just 22 years old, Tupac became the voice of a generation. His music spoke about struggle, pain, and injustice. In only a few short years, he became one of the most influential rappers in history. He was only 25 years old when he was tragically killed in 1996. 2. Whitney Houston. At 22, Whitney Houston released her debut album. It became one of the best-selling debut albums ever. Her voice was powerful. Her presence was unforgettable. By her early 20s, she had already become a global superstar. Whitney passed away in 2012 at the age of 48. 3. Will Smith. At just 22, Will Smith became the star of The Fresh Prince of Bel-Air. From music to television to blockbuster films, his career exploded worldwide. Before turning 25, he was already one of the most recognizable young stars in America. In 2026, he is 58 years old and still active in Hollywood. 4. Janet Jackson. At only 20 years old, Janet Jackson released the album Control. It was bold, it was confident, it was independent. She stepped out of her family's shadow and created her own identity. Before 25, she had already built a powerful legacy in music. In 2026, Janet Jackson is 60 years old. 5. Stevie Wonder. Some legends start young, but Stevie Wonder started even younger. At just 13 years old, he had a #1 hit song. By his early 20s, he was already shaping the future of soul and R&B music, a child prodigy who became a global icon. In 2026, Stevie Wonder is 76 years old and remains one of music's greatest legends. 6. The Notorious B.I.G. At just 22 years old, Biggie released Ready to Die. His storytelling was raw. His voice was unforgettable. In only a few years, he became one of the greatest rappers of all time. He was only 24 years old when he was killed in 1997. 7. Aaliyah. At just 15, Aaliyah released her first album. By 22, she had become one of the most influential voices in R&B. Her style was smooth. Her sound was ahead of its time. She was only 22 years old when she passed away in 2001. 8. Beyoncé. At 23, Beyoncé launched her solo career with Dangerously in Love. She stepped beyond Destiny's Child and proved she could dominate alone. Before turning 25, she had already become a global superstar. In 2026, she is 44 years old and still one of the most powerful artists in the world. 9. Eddie Murphy. At 21, Eddie Murphy became a breakout star on Saturday Night Live. By 22, he was headlining major Hollywood films. His comedy changed a generation. Before 25, he was already one of the biggest young stars in America. In 2026, he is 65 years old. Key-Cap 10. Lauryn Hill. At just 21, Lauryn Hill helped create the score with the Fugees. Her voice and lyrics were powerful and emotional. Before turning 25, she had already reshaped hip-hop and R&B. In 2026, Lauryn Hill is 51 years old. 11. Halle Berry. At just 23 years old, Halle Berry was already gaining national attention after Miss USA and Miss World competitions. By her mid-20s, she was landing major Hollywood roles. Her breakthrough opened doors for a new generation of black actresses. In 2026, Halle Berry is 60 years old and still active in film and television. 12. Ice Cube. At just 21, Ice Cube helped shape the sound of NWA. His lyrics were bold. His message was fearless. Before turning 25, he had already changed the direction of hip-hop. In 2026, Ice Cube is 57 years old and continues to work in music and film. 13. Jada Pinkett Smith. At 22, Jada Pinkett Smith was already making her mark in Hollywood. Her breakout roles in the early 1990s showed confidence and strong screen presence. Before 25, she had built a foundation for a long acting career. In 2026, She is 54 years old and remains a recognized figure in entertainment. 14. Chris Rock. At just 24, Chris Rock joined Saturday Night Live. His sharp humor and fearless commentary quickly made him stand out. Before 25, he had already become one of the most promising young comedians in America. In 2026, Chris Rock is 61 years old and still performing worldwide. 15. Angela Bassett. In her early 20s, Angela Bassett was already studying and preparing for greatness at Yale School of Drama. By her late 20s, her powerful performances began attracting major attention. Her dedication and discipline laid the foundation for an iconic career. In 2026, Angela Bassett is 67 years old. 16. Michael B. Jordan. In his early 20s, Michael B. Jordan was already gaining attention on television. But at 26, his role in Fruitvale Station changed everything. The performance was powerful, emotional, unforgettable. It proved he was more than just a young actor. He was a future leading man. In 2026, Michael B. Jordan is 39 years old and one of Hollywood's biggest stars. 17. Rihanna. At just 17, Rihanna released her first single. By 21, she was already dominating global charts. Her music was bold. Her image was fearless. Before 25, she had built an empire in pop and R&B. In 2026, Rihanna is 38 years old and a global business icon. 18. Chadwick Boseman. Chadwick Boseman worked quietly in his early career, but by his late 20s, he was already earning respect for powerful roles. His dedication to portraying real heroes would later define his legacy. He passed away in 2020 at the age of 43. His impact continues to inspire millions. 19. Zendaya. At just 16, Zendaya was already starring on television. By her early 20s, she was winning major awards for her acting. Her confidence and talent made her one of the most influential young stars of her generation. In 2026, Zendaya is 29 years old and still rising. 20. Kendrick Lamar. In his early 20s, Kendrick Lamar released projects that caught national attention. By 25, he was already being called one of the greatest lyricists of his time. His storytelling and depth elevated hip-hop to a new level. In 2026, Kendrick Lamar is 39 years old and a Pulitzer Prize winner. 21. Jimi Hendrix. In his early 20s, Jimi Hendrix was already redefining what a guitar could sound like. By 24, he had shocked the world with his performance at the Monterey Pop Festival. His sound was electric, revolutionary. He passed away in 1970 at just 27 years old, yet his influence still lives on. 22. Viola Davis. In her early 20s, Viola Davis was already studying and preparing for greatness. Her discipline and dedication built the foundation for an extraordinary career. Years later, she would become one of the most respected actresses in the world. In 2026, Viola Davis is 60 years old and an EGOT winner. 23. Nas. At just 21 years old, Nas released Illmatic. The album changed hip-hop forever. His lyrics were poetic, honest, unmatched. Before turning 25, he had already secured his place in rap history. In 2026, Nas is 53 years old and still recording music. 24. Regina King. At just 14, Regina King began acting on television. By her early 20s, she was already building a respected career in film. Her strength and versatility made her one of the most admired actresses of her generation. In 2026, Regina King is 55 years old and continues to inspire. 25. Kanye West. At 26, Kanye West released The College Dropout. The album redefined modern hip-hop production. Before turning 30, he had already changed the sound of music worldwide. In 2026, Kanye West is 49 years old and remains one of the most influential and controversial figures in music. Some legends rise slowly, others rise young, Before 25, before the fame feels real, before the world fully understands their greatness. Age does not define impact. Vision does. Which legend shocked you the most? Let me know in the comments.